Alright, everybody, let's continue of our deep textual analysis and overall book review for the book club, A Sword of Allah. It was recommended by one of the viewers, I think a little while back, yeah, and was spot on with my taste in books. So, let's continue. The part of his force that had remained at Zukisa was informed of the success and called forward. The same evening the full force of the apostates advanced and re-established the camp near Medina, from which they had withdrawn only the day before. The spirits of the apostates were high. Okay, so they, at Kisa, they came forward and they went back. The Muslims, on the other hand, were very angry, and every man was determined to set the record straight and return an engagement. Abu Bakr knew that the apostates had returned to their camp near Medina, and decided to assail them before they could complete their preparations for battle. There you go. So, don't let them get too comfy, and then hit them while it's hot. Under his instructions, the Muslims spent most of the night reorganizing their small army and preparing for battle. During the latter part of the night, Abu Bakr led his army out of Medina and formed up for the assault. He deployed the army with a center, 2 wings, and a rear guard. Oh, cool. Alright, here we go. Look, okay, so he's got his center, he's got his wings, and he's got the rear guard. Cool. Keeping the center under his direct command. Alright, so he's at the center. Boom, just right there. I wonder if he was on the back line, or maybe like 2 lines in. I wonder. Very cool. He placed the right wing under Noman. Okay, cool. So right wing, let's put a little thing next to that. The left wing under Abdullah. And the rear guard under Suwaid. I think I'd want to be the rear guard. All 3 of them who were sons of Mukarram. Oh, really? Look at that. His sons. So his sons are Abdullah, Nauman, and Suwaid. Before dawn, the army was set in motion toward the enemy camp, where the apostates, confident of an easy victory on the morrow, slept soundly. This time it was Hibal who was surprised. The first glow of dawn had not yet appeared when a furious, screaming mass of Muslims fell upon the camp with drawn swords. Oh, yeah! So Hibal is comfortable. You can totally picture it. And then, I wonder what their, well, obviously, Allah Akbar, but each group has a particular tone. And if he says that, because, for example, like, Bernal Diaz wrote in his Conquest of New Spain, the Aztecs had a particular call, right? And the Gauls obviously had theirs, right? So here, I wonder, besides the one we already know, what other shouts there was. That was very cool. And when you're shouting like that, somebody was just like, oh, just put your pants on, hurry, we gotta go out. The apostates did not stand upon the order of their going. Many were killed, but most of them found safety in flight, and did not stop until they had got to Zukisa, where they paused to rest and reorganize. Their spirits were no longer so high. Yeah. So he didn't let them get comfortable. They formed up near Medina. So Abu Bakr sets up a center, fully formed deployment, right? Front, he's got his everything going down. And the sons of Mukram lead it, and the people have to retreat out of their camp before they fully fortified it. This round had been won by Abu Bakr, and his was no empty success. It was a bloody tactical action in which the enemy had been driven back by the sword and not by deception alone. Abu Bakr had decided to catch the enemies unawares and thus get the benefit of surprise to offset his numerical inferiority. Well, it worked on that part, right? He had to be bold, take a chance. See the opportunity. Would have been very cool to see. And in this, he had succeeded. He needed a quick tactical victory, and he had got it. And it also raised the spirits of the soldiers as well, right? Little victories here and there keep the morale up. As a matter of interest, it may be noted that this is the first instance in Muslim history of a night attack, a tactical method which did not achieve popularity until the First World War. Oh, interesting. So in Muslim history, because I'm pretty sure night attacks have been utilized, but it's the first Muslim one. Very good, right? Having won this round, Abu Bakr decided to give no respite to his opponents. He would catch them before the effect of the shock wore off and while alarm and confusion kept them disorganized. That's right. So he didn't pull back, just surprise them. They run off. Okay, we're gonna organize. Boom, do it again. Let's see. As the sun rose, he marched to Zukisa. Alright. Get him again. Abu Bakr arrived at Zukisa. He formed up for battle as he had done the night before, and then launched his attack. The apostates put up a fight, but the morale was low, and after some resistance, they broke contact and returned to Abrak, where more clansmen of the Ghatafan, the Hawazin, and the Tay were gathered. Okay, so I'm gonna put bubble. So now they're heading out to Abrak. They got the other tribes, the Ghatafan, Hawazin, and the Tay. And the Tay spelled Tayy. And they're waiting for him to receive him. Abu Bakr, on capturing Zukisa, sent a small force under Talha bin Ubaydullah to pursue the enemy. Okay, so we've heard Talha before, but always got to annotate so we can remember what happened at the Zukisa. Who went under there? Who led the attack? Talha bin Abdullah. Talha advanced a short distance and killed some stragglers, but the small size of his force prevented him from doing any great damage to the retreating apostates. Very cool. The capture of Zukisa took place on or about July 30th, 632, the 8th of Jamadi-ul Awwal, 11 al-Hijri. So it's, again, he's always awesome with giving us the different calendar days for such events, but it's very cool to nerd out on. 632, fam. Long time ago. Abu Bakr left Noman bin Mukran with a detachment to hold Zukisa, and with the rest of his force rode back to Medina. Okay, so Noman's going to be left in charge. Hold on to that post at Zukisa they established. Gonna head on back. On August 2nd, the army of Usama returned to Medina. The capital of Islam was no longer in danger. Well, there you go. Look at that. On leaving Medina, Usama had marched to Tabuk. Okay. Usama, his army is heading on to Tabuk now. Most of the tribes in this region opposed him fiercely, but Usama, with the zeal and vigor of youth, swept across the land with fire and sword. He raided far and wide in the region of northern Arabia, starting with the Quza, who scattered under the blows of his columns, and then made their way to Daumatul Jandal, where Khalid had captured Uqdar 2 years before. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Quza, Usama is taking them on, right? He's like, hi. So northern Arabia, geographical point here. And it's cool, he's like the zeal and vigor of youth. That helps, right? But these people back then were very strong. Khalid in Uqdar 2 years before. Usama killed all those who fought him and burnt orchards and villages, leaving in his wake a hurricane of smoke. Pretty tactical thing. I mean, Caesar did that. I mean, it's just something that happens. Now, there's an argument of, do you torch it, leave it there so that your enemy can't recapture it and re-establish it, or do you hold on to it, try to make sure if a siege comes, you leave people there, and then you use those resources for you. There's an argument to be had, but that can't always be done. So you torch it so that your enemy can't have it, because you have no plans on returning back to that particular spot, right? It's something done strategically, right? As a result of his operation, several tribes resubmitted to Medina and re-embraced Islam. But the Quza remained rebellious and unrepentant. Okay, so we gotta remember that. We're pretty sure of it, but let's just remember again. So the Quza are still like, hey, we are not doing it. And had to be dealt with again a short while later by Armin bin Alas. Okay, so Amr and Usama dealt with the Kuza. And obviously Abu Bakr, right? And all that. Usama next marched to Malta, fought the Christian Arabs of the tribes of Kalb and Ghassan, and avenged the death of his father. Okay, here's a cool point I like. So before this book, I didn't even think of Christian Arabs. And their tribes, so Christian Arab tribes, were Kalb and Ghassan. Well, they had a majority, or at least a percentage number that was significant, of Christian members. There was, however, no major battle. Then he returned to Medina, bringing with him a large number of captives and considerable amount of wealth, part of which comprised the spoils of war, and part the taxes paid by the repentant tribes. I mean, taxes on tribes that are recently conquered are pretty normal. You know, it's nothing really unsurprising and rational, right? The army of Usama was warmly welcomed by Abu Bakr and the people of Medina, to whom its return brought comfort and assurance. It had been away for 40 days. See, now that's a cool fact. Like, you see how he just ended it? Like, how long? So, everyone seems to be coming, just back to Medina. Must have been a really cool thing to see when you see your team coming back victorious, right? It's quite beautiful.